All right, we're here with Lars Murray.
Lars Murray over here.
And you're on Music Twindustry.
What is it that you're doing with your life these days? I would love to understand what is your full-time gig and how did you get here? Not from childhood, but what was the spark that got you into the music industry or got you into the creative industry?
So I'll leave out the log cabin part.
Yeah.
I have 3 jobs.
Wow.
So,
okay.
That's good.
One
Hustler,
is
man.
I'm doing a daily podcast called Unlimited Supply.
Amazing.
It's a daily 5-minute synopsis,
Wow.
a TLDR, what you should be paying attention to if you are in the music industry.
Amazing.
And here's what's happening in AI. Here's what's happening in finance. Here's what's happening, here's who's getting laid off. We cover that every day. In the morning, hits about 10 o'clock Eastern
Okay.
time.
What happens when you go on vacation?
I went on vacation in August. I lined up 5 Axe Grinder episodes,
Amazing.
or five people to do their little 2-minute things, and that's what we filled the feed with.
Right, okay.
I do plan on going on vacation again a couple more times this
hope
year.
so, yeah.
How are you promoting this?
Mostly through my own network and LinkedIn and, occasional, mostly socials. I'm about to close on a partnership, which I don't want to talk about because I don't want to jinx it.
No,
and,
don't
and
jinx
it's not
it.
quite done, but
Don't do
I
it.
have Pop Cult is my partnership. I work with a guy named Dennis Shire. He's based on the West Coast. Right after I left my last corporate job about 6 years ago when I was at Pandora, and I was working on podcasting. And when I was there, my last gig was sort of trying to open up podcasting, and Pandora put them together, do some storytelling around music. And when I walked out the door, I was like, this still needs to be done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it on myself.
Okay.
And that was crazy. The most high-profile ones, we created a Metallica podcast around the 30th
Okay.
anniversary of the
Amazing.
Black Album. We
awesome.
basically
Wow,
work
good.
with rights holders because basically licensing for podcasts, licensing music is a terrible business for everybody.
Right.
It's better just to go to the rights holders and say, partner with us.
Yeah,
We'll give
yeah.
you a big piece of the action. Just let us use your content.
And what about the production of itself? Do they give them production studios or anything like that? Or
We don't.
facilities?
We basically cover that all. We do it for hire. We will take care of soup to nuts, everything from production, finding hosts, booking, all of that stuff, all the way into distribution.
And so what else?
There's ROYFI.
Yeah,
Which is
so
what?
tell us about ROYFI. We're in business with ROYFI.
I've got a great origin story.
Give us the genesis.
2022, I decided that I was going to stop doing industry consulting because I had a really bad client and he was making me crazy.
We've had some of
and
those.
they couldn't produce a demo for the software, yada, yada, yada. I finally decided, nope, not going to do this anymore. So I decided to focus 100% on podcasting, content creation, stuff like that. Anyway, so I was talking to Peter Harvey, my new friend.
Yep.
and-
Peter.
yeah, and having come off of this not so great relationship with my last client and not really thinking about being an advisor, I said, where's your capital come from? And he's like, well, it comes mostly from private sources, but we have plenty. And I, well, what about your software? Does it work? Yes, it works. Can you show it to me on Monday?
Right.
Yes, I can show it to you on Monday.
Amazing.
All right, that's
1,
a
2,
date.
3, yeah.
And then, so he showed it to me. It's very simple. You can go to the website and you can get an advance if they're fully integrated with the partner. And if the partner is not fully integrated with ROYFI, it takes a few days. So we talked some more. Really didn't talk to him about being an advisor up front. I just wanted to get a feel for him.
Right.
To make sure, and I call it the Linus Van Pelt pumpkin patch test. Are you sincere? Peter and his partner Corey both convinced me that they were very sincere about
Yeah.
what they were doing. So I was like, well, then everybody needs to know about you because if you're
Right.
basically making money available to artists in a better way with
Yeah.
better terms and more transparently than anybody else in the business, people need to know about this.
100%.
I don't have any problem getting behind this. He wants to make available to artists what's available to small businesses.
Right,
Artists
right.
have just been
It's
punished.
very
Really
altruistic.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. he's
We
a
find
very-
it karmically
very cool.
correct in the way that money should be
We
advanced.
couldn't
from.
align with any other company.
Yeah, I mean, there was
we feel
nothing
good about
else
it.
out there that actually.
So you should check it out at
spoke to our
ROYFI,
ethos.
ROYFI.com.
Yep,
And,
ROYFI.com.
yeah.
It's
And-
also right here.
It's also right here at ROYFI.com. Tell us real quick how you found your way out of college. Where did you grow up? That sort of thing. What got you into music first, and was music the first thing?
The coolest part was where I went to school at Brown. They had a radio station that was not just a college radio station. It was actually a commercial radio station.
Oh,
Pretty amazing.
So
Big signal.
WBRU, it was run entirely by the students. We had all of this interface with the mainstream of the industry. So I still talk to guys who were my reps, my label reps from back then. And then I graduated and tried to get a job in radio. And the minute I wasn't the music director of WBRU, the major label, or major market radio station, No longer getting those phone
who's
calls
Lars?
returned.
Who's Lars?
Nice
Right.
to know you. A lot of people who came out of BRU ended up working at labels and stuff like that. I ended up getting a label job, and that's another random story,
We
up
like
in
random
Boston at a label called Ryko Disc.
Yeah, we know Ryko.
Dude, are you kidding?
I interned at Ryko.
You
We also had our-
interned at Ryko.
What was it, 1993? I worked for Arthur Mann.
Oh, you work for Arthur? Oh,
in Bryn Mawr,
Philly.
Pennsylvania.
Awesome. This is 1988. I
wow.
interviewed with this guy up in Salem,
this is 4
Massachusetts.
years later I was
They've
there.
got the Screaming Tribesmen, and they've got Frank Zappa. I'm wearing my suit, my tan suit, which apparently caused great mirth in the office. We really hit it off. And he's walking me out the door, and he says, "Oh, by the way, this is on a Friday. On Monday, we're going to announce that we've acquired the rights to the Bowie catalog."
Wow.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, a feisty little indie in Salem, Massachusetts looks like the coolest place in the world
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
work. I was doing digital media for Ryko through the 90s, mostly
Yep.
strategy stuff. We were the first label to put a whole bunch of MP3s out with Good Noise, which became eMusic. Did all kinds of stuff. Anytime we were going into a new format, I was that guy. Built a website. 1999, Chris Blackwell has bought Ryko, shuts down everywhere except Philly, and everybody's got to move to New York. I decided it was time during the dot-com boom for me to go over into the agency side. So I worked for a small agency called Sudden Industries for about 3 years. After that kind of faded away, I ended up going back to work at Virgin Records.
Got it.
awesome.
Did 3 years there. Great people, great team. Just could never get it together. Then I got asked to go over to Columbia
At Madison Avenue, 550.
at 550.
So sorry.
And
I still have nightmares about that building.
2013, we put out Random Access Memories, the Daft
Yeah.
Punk record. They were great to work with. They were inclusive. Their the reputation. I had actually worked Human After All when I was at Virgin.
Very cool.
They didn't want any part of Virgin at all.
Right.
And I had this impression of them as being incredibly difficult.
Right.
Big hit, 5 Grammys,
Yeah.
big party, and my contract's up. I had been contacted by Pandora about a job, which was opening up Pandora to the music industry.
Right on.
And I was like, well, I'm a masochist.
Yeah.
So I went over to Pandora. We actually did change the conversation. I'm really proud of it. We went
Yeah.
over there. People did not want to talk to us. Some people were afraid to talk to us. At the beginning, it was really, really difficult. So it was just a lot of shoe leather. It was just a lot of going around, explaining to people. And the big thing there was that Pandora at that point was 5 times the size of Spotify in the U.S.
Oh, is that right?
Some longtime Pandora people were convinced that the minute that the majors got a glimpse at any of their data, that they would immediately reverse engineer Pandora. I've got a whole probably 5-episode podcast on Grammys 2015. They didn't really see Spotify coming. That was a lot of work that I had to do when I first got there, because you walk in and you're like, Spotify is going to eat our lunch if we don't hurry up. And it's too bad, because it was a great
it's a
product.
big company, you know.
It's hard to turn the
When you
Titanic.
get that big.
Yeah, like you go from
well,
being
and that's
a-
the thing. And what they're still really good at. They have the best ad sales team in the world.
Yeah, I mean
these
if you're
guys are
getting like
amazing.
something that's relevant to a demographic that you're in because you listen to this kind of music, you're naturally going to get fed Yankee Candle Company or whatever it is. You know, like, are there any things like back in the day that you were doing digitally that are?
It's okay.
Come on, knock it off. There's,
Give him some Narcan.
are there any things that were that you guys were doing like at Ryko or on the label side that you were doing when you were owning the digital space, I suppose, for promoting, artists? Is there anything like that you did back in the day that's sort of very relevant for now, analog wise, that artists should be doing or could be doing? That, like, you mentioned Reddit, for instance. I feel like Reddit could be a huge avenue for an artist if they actually spend some
People
time
still
on
do
it.
that. They seed like the chat rooms and stuff.
Build your audience and own your audience.
Right.
And that was the key thing. We did a Throwing Muses. We took an EP, a 5-song EP, and we pressed up 10,000 copies of it. No, we printed up 1,000 copies.
Right.
We didn't
Right.
think anybody would really want this thing.
Right.
And we made it available to their mailing, their listserv.
Right.
And the thing was gone in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Direct to consumer market is
So you're
massive.
thinking
It's
like
crazy.
these lead magnets are actually like useful pieces of
Yeah. For the
what we've
last
been saying
20
all along is that
it's-
email is like never going to go away.
So
Things change, like social media comes and goes.
Right.
Remember MySpace?
nothing converts like
Yeah,
email.
email.
Nothing
Yeah.
converts.
Still does.
Own your audience.
Yeah.
We believe the people that look at email are the most engaged fans.
All of that stuff
Right.
was really early internet stuff that was accomplished on listservs and
Yep.
Usenet.
Alt.nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
Alt.nerd.
Exactly.
You know,
Build your audience, own your audience, know who they are. Don't let somebody else control your audience.
for sure.
So yeah, owning your
Great
audience.
Own your audience, own your data.
Yeah, it's really simple, and it's been true
Those
since.
are very
the
sage
90s.
words. I appreciate that. And
So-
do you have anything you want to add?
What are you guys doing?
Oh, what do we do?
What do I need to know?
But
Boom,
boom, boom.
What should I be telling people about Earth Program?
Our program is, basically like a sporting gym for upcoming artists that really
And
want to-
labels.
and labels that want to experience better distribution, better relationships with their colleagues and counterparts, get some actual records sold and streaming, get some ads out the door, some marketing and strategy under their belts. We basically
Learn how to
do-
deploy music correctly.
Yeah, we basically do all the label functions for artists with them in the driver's seat. We do all the work.
Yeah, we're teaching people how to do this properly.
Yeah, it's like they're their own businesses. They're their own labels.
It's business development.
Yeah.
Essentially at the end of the day, on label services.
Yep, that's
So-
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And thanks for asking. I appreciate that.
It's actually a sincere question. When is an artist ready for you?
That's
What
a good
level
question.
does an artist, need
I
to
mean,
be at
we've
before
worked
you
with
guys can
everybody
actually-
from
Yeah.
ones that have hundreds of thousands of Spotify monthly listeners to people that are brand new putting out music and want to establish themselves correctly from the beginning.
Right.
Because it does matter.
A lot of it sometimes is how do we actually hit reset on things that were done incorrectly?
Yeah.
Or
We've done a lot of CPR.
yeah, exactly.
You know.
Then given the right love, that they'll actually streaming numbers will rise.
Yeah.
People understand. who
We're
they
very
are.
altruistic about our business as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Our ethos is just to try to help and leave it better than we arrived.
Yeah,
like a campsite.
exactly, like a campsite.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Lars.
Unlimited Supply is the name of the podcast. UnlimitedSupplyPod.com
Awesome.
is the name of the website. Also, Pop Cult Worldwide is the name of my other production company. And ROYFI. If you were looking for the most transparent deal and best terms in the industry on artist advances, go to ROYFI.com.